Thank you guys for being here. Special thanks to Ecommerce Forum and Union Square. You guys are awesome. I'm so totally psyched to be here. So let's just dive right in. If you have any questions, we can go through them at the end. So the title of my talk today is How I Got 20,000 Visitors a Month from SEO. And who am I? I ask myself this question every day. I grew up on Long Island. I live in Stuytown. I have a beautiful little 1-year-old daughter. And I have an SEO agency, Shore Oak, which I do client work and consulting. I've been doing SEO since 2014. And what am I good at? Just a couple things. SEO is super multidisciplinary. There's an analytical side, a creative side. There's some strategic parts and relationship building. So I want to show you an overview of what I'm going to talk about today. SEO is a marketing channel, why we would do SEO versus any other marketing channel. My story and failures along the way is always fun to hear about. What actually drives results for your SEO, how you can take action to make SEO work for your website, your business, your e-commerce store, and SEO for e-commerce and what's different about SEO for e-commerce. So to start off, let's put SEO in context as a marketing channel. SEO is one marketing channel out of many. You can do paid search, you can do email marketing, you can do social media marketing. And here's one model of the sales funnel that I like to think of for SEO for business. So obviously you want to make more money. To make more money, you need to grow your business. To grow your business, you need to get more sales. To get more sales, you need more paying customers. To get more paying customers, you need to have people interested in your products, your services, whatever it is that you're selling. And to do that, you have to have people finding you in the first place. And that's usually what a lot of marketing is trying to get in front of people. And so SEO is a perfect solution for having people find you because people are already looking for your products and services. Now, if you look at it from the user standpoint, and you guys use Google, Bing, or whatever it might be every single day, or if you're like me, you do, you start off wanting to find something. So you search on Google, you come to the search results page, you click on a result. You might become a customer today, a customer at some point in the future, or a customer never. And more often than not, you're not going to become a paying customer today. You might develop some brand awareness or some trust, or come back to the site because you do a search again, or maybe through retargeting you hear of the same product and service again. So building a relationship with your prospects is super important. So you might generate a lead. You might do retargeting. And so the question is, why should we do SEO? And I'm going to give you 4 reasons. The first is because it's inbound. People are already looking for what you have, what you're selling, what you're offering. And if you've ever tried cold calling or cold emailing, it's brutal, right? So people are actually coming to you looking for what you already have. Second is this qualified traffic. If I'm searching Google for buy a wool sweater, I'm someone that's actively in this moment looking to buy a wool sweater. It's like no-brainer there. The third is it can be extremely stable and consistent. Now, this comes with a grain of salt because doing SEO right and well, yes, but if we're trying to manipulate rankings or doing things a little not so good in the eyes of Google and Bing and other search engines, it's not going to be so stable and consistent. So I want to share with you a really important concept I have of monthly recurring traffic. So if you already have an e-commerce store or business, you know how important it is to have that traffic coming every single month. And monthly recurring traffic drives the most important, or one of the most important metrics of a business, which is monthly recurring revenue, or if you have a SaaS or a subscription model, monthly recurring revenue growth, right? So it's basically ongoing people coming to the site. And I want to show you an example of, this is a 10-day period of online sales from a few weeks ago. And I just want to show you the steadiness, because as long as you have that traffic coming in and the conversions and everything is nothing weird or funky, it's pretty consistent. And who doesn't want that kind of chart? And this is an example from a website and a business I'm going to walk you through in a minute. And the 4th reason is ROI. So with SEO, it's like invest today. And by today, I mean really over the next 6 months or 1 year, whatever it may be. And you can keep driving the return on that investment over the coming years. Again, it's contingent upon doing it well, doing it right, and those sorts of things, because Google is constantly updating their algorithm. But unlike other marketing channels, if you stop spending on Facebook ads today, you stop spending on AdWords today, your traffic stops and that revenue drops. So now let me take you into my story and failures. I'm going to take you back to 2013. I started working on a website called Life Coach Spotter. And the business model is its lead gen. This is not an e-commerce site, but there's so many similarities between any online business and website trying to rank for SEO. It's almost irrelevant, basically. And the business model here is someone looking for a life coach searches on Google or looking to improve their life. And they come to the site, they fill out a form, they become a lead, and then the real value on the other end is it's a two-sided market. Coaches are looking for clients to grow their business. In this case, it's life coaches. And so they're willing to pay in order to be matched with prospective clients and grow their business and get new clients. So the site launched in 2013. This is just a sample blog post. And I thought it was really smart. We launched the site with 50 well-written blog posts, which is roughly 20 or 30,000 words of content, which is easy to say, but it's really a ton of content to create and then put out there once you make the site live and everything. And the results were pretty awful. And I learned the most important lesson at that time, which is the content you create is absolutely meaningless and useless if you can't get it in front of the right people, right? So if you've ever built a website and had like 0 traffic or 100 people in a month, you know the pain of going through all this and then shrug, and it's pretty sad. It's pretty disappointing. So getting content in front of the right people does not mean for SEO, does not mean social shares. It does not mean like word of mouth marketing. For SEO, getting your content in front of the right people means backlinks. That's like the language of SEO and getting it shared and building social proof with search engines like Google. So I tried every tactic that experts recommended. I did tons of research. I started with on-site changes. I did all kinds of link building tactics. And I learned everything that doesn't work. Basically, it was a process of elimination. There's a lot of tactics and strategies that 10 years ago were awesome. 5 years ago, maybe they moved the needle a little bit. Today, it's either 0 or it moves the needle so negligibly that it doesn't even matter, or it actually brings your rankings down because it's looked upon as a low-quality, spammy approach. And the amazing thing is you can still go on Upwork or outsource this stuff today. Okay, so here we are today, and you can still hire someone to do blog commenting for you, or Web 2.0 submissions, right? So you can still find all kinds of low-quality, just crappy services. No offense to the people offering those, but it just doesn't work, So I've looked to hire myself to try to make things easier on me. So ranking higher gets absurdly difficult for one primary reason. That reason is that Google aggressively guards their algorithm and sort of what goes into how they rank sites. And they do this for a good reason, because they want to prevent people from manipulating, or if I have a spammy website and I just want to be on page 1, Google's constantly, they've been fighting spam since the beginning, right? They have a web spam team. But so, they're updating their algorithm to fight spammy tactics. And so our job in doing SEO is seemingly impossible, because they have over 200 ranking factors in their algorithm. And so what are you going to do? So, and it's actually a very simple answer of how you approach this. You'd be surprised, but the real answer is you just do research and you do tests. Just like in chemistry class in high school, you have an experiment, a control group, a test group, and then you study and you measure and you see what works. You see what drives results. Now, I didn't know this at the time, so I just tried every ridiculous thing that did not work. But nowadays, I've gotten a little smarter, and I can look at case studies, and I can look at research and studies that just show you what works, and then test things out for myself and confirm or see if it works and if I'm doing it right. So now let's talk about really driving results. Because if you have a website, you have a business, you have an e-commerce store, or you're thinking about it or in the process of trying to get traffic to your site, we should really focus on what's going to move the needle for you, because everything else is a waste of time. And so the real question is, and this is for Life Coach Spotter, okay, so here's the organic search traffic, and how did it go from there to there, right? So these results are pretty dramatic, and you can see all this time I was kind of struggling along, and this is back to 2013 of really getting no movement, and then this happens. And so this is the first phase I want to point out to you. And it doesn't look that impressive, but it's almost a 400% increase in organic traffic. And during this time period, so we had 5 months, and I tested out about 8 different strategies Okay, so infographic campaigns, doing outreach to bloggers, guest posting. And out of all those, really two things I really believe moved the needle of that 400% increase in 5 months. One is comprehensive content guides, which is basically written content. And you've probably seen these before, the ultimate guide to, or the complete guide to do X and do Y and Z. And it's really extensive, really in-depth, really long. And the second thing is link earning, also known as link building. And so in terms of content, I invested in over 70,000 words of optimized content. So that's like almost a whole book of content out on the web for free. And it wasn't just any content, it was very well optimized, which I'll talk to you about in a little while. But this was a thing that really drove, one of the factors that really drove things. And this is just a screenshot of an infographic. You know, it's long and I couldn't get it all on here, but the real power behind creating content like an infographic or like other valuable assets on your website is when you get them in front of the right people and get them in front of the people who are more likely to link back to it. And so there's a process, I'm going to talk more in depth about that. But basically, we're doing outreach and emailing people, telling them about it, because we've seen that those same people have already linked to similar infographics or whatever the piece of content is. They've already linked in the past. So they're more likely to link to this than just anybody or someone that we think might be interested, but we don't really have evidence of that. So this was the first part of this whole growth that you saw. And this is the second part. And so things really picked up, and I was pretty surprised. And this is the before and after. So you can see the difference, basically over a year. You can see the difference in the monthly organic search traffic. And so basically, the one thing that drove the results you just saw in the second part of this was creating a scholarship on the website. And now, at first glance, we're like, why would that do anything for SEO, right? The way the scholarship works is it's offering something valuable to students and then sharing that scholarship award with universities who want to share that with their students. Okay, so universities want to help their students pay for their education. To do that, they'll share on their website, oh, there's a scholarship you can apply for here. So what we did was a ton of like data mining and research, finding email addresses, contacting people, and a ton of outreach. And outreach is really a grind. It's a lot of work. But and this was only from like a dozen universities linking back to Life Coach Spotter. But Google takes extremely seriously the quality of other websites that link back to yours. So if you have a government website linking back to yours, it's amazing. If you have a charitable organization, the trust and the authority of a website linking back to yours is significantly higher than having 10, 20, or 50 mediocre or little small blogs linking back to your website. It's not going to have the same impact. So Google's mysterious ranking algorithm is not so mysterious after all. So let me tell you how you want to really drive results for SEO to your website. And it's basically, I boil it down to 3 things. We can even boil it down to 2. So here they are. Referring domains, content, and optimization. And if you focus on these 3, and there's a lot of incremental stuff out there. There's little technical things you can do and optimize an image. You could do all that stuff, but it's just not the best use of your time, right? The best use of your time is just focusing on the high impact things, and these are those. So if you focus on these 3, and even if you didn't do like 80% of the other stuff, you're going to be good. So 1, referring domains. What is a referring domain? It's a website that links back to your website. And we differentiate a referring domain from a backlink because here's the story. You can have a friend, Johanna, that has her own blog, and she's your buddy, and she's going to hook you up. So you say, Johanna, link to my website 20 times, and she does, and cool. We're tricking Google because I'm building all these backlinks on Johanna's site, right? But Google's smart, and they know that if you have dozens or hundreds of different websites linking back to your website, these are like different votes, separate votes that are more valuable because there's different webmasters, different writers, bloggers, owners of these sites. And so there's more social proof from Google that many websites, many referring domains are linking back to your website versus the same website keeps giving you backlinks. So referring domains are the most heavily weighted ranking factor in Google's algorithm. And they're really hard to get because you can't control or make someone else link back to you. You can't twist their arm. You can ask them and beg them, but then you look kind of weird and like, why would they want to link to you? So it's sort of like the holy grail of SEO. And you don't want just any old backlinks. As I mentioned, you want authoritative, trustworthy, and relevant backlinks. And it's hard to get these all in one shot, right? So if there was the most authoritative, trustworthy, and relevant site to your website, there might be some of those, but it's going to be hard to get all of these attributes from one website. So what you do is you kind of, in one campaign, you might target relevant websites to link back to you. Another campaign, you might target trustworthy websites to link back to you. And so the real solution, as I was discussing, is doing outreach in order to get websites linking back to you. And now outreach is premised on first having something of high quality that people would naturally actually just want to share on their website because it's valuable and awesome. And it's getting more and more competitive. There's tons of content. There's tons of things out there that you're competing against. The second thing, as I mentioned, is finding people who've already linked back to similar pieces of content or assets in the past. And so there's these tools. There's Ahrefs. There's SEMrush. There's Moz has Open Site Explorer. You can go to third-party data providers, export all the backlinks to any web page or website, and then you can go through all of those, or you can hire someone to find email addresses, social media, contact information, and then you can go ahead and start emailing people. And the other thing is you have to personalize it, because if you've ever gotten like a templated email in your inbox, it's just sort of like shrug, delete, or disregard. You don't feel anything, right? But if you're meeting someone here in person, you're real, you're genuine, you're authentic. You're just being yourself and being cool and building a relationship. So building rapport is super important. And the fourth thing is to follow up, because people are busy. You're at the bottom of their priority list. So, a few days go by, a week goes by, shoot them an email, hey, did you get my email? Second most important thing, content. And this is what people are actually searching for. And in e-commerce, it's a little different, because most of what your site is offering and presenting is products. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. So again, oftentimes people are doing searches for information. They also search for, I want to buy a wool sweater right now. But information is huge, and Google really takes it into account. The amount of information being shared on the web continues to grow exponentially, as it has over the last couple of decades or more. And the truth is, you're not going to rank #1 with your 500-word blog post. It's not going to do it, If the Huffington Post has a 500-word blog post, sure, they could rank #1 or 2 or 3, because they have the authority. They have websites linking to them. They're, in Google's eyes, there's tons of trust, right? You have your startup website or your small business or medium business. To compete, you have to go 2,000 words, 5,000 words. I recommend 3,000 to 12,000 words of content in a comprehensive guide, which probably sounds insane to people. But if you think of some of the best content you've ever found on Google by just doing a search, it's in depth. You can read through it if you're interested. Sometimes you just want a quick answer and you don't want all that info. But people skim. So this is an example of a comprehensive content guide I did that I was showing you from before. I think it was a little over a dozen. This one, I forget, maybe it's like 5,000 words. And it's extremely in-depth, very well written. And it's targeting multiple keywords, all within the structure and the outline as well. And there's Longtail Keywords. And so you can't trick Google into thinking that your crap piece of content is really good, because they're really smart. And they're just getting smarter with AI and the things they're doing, which I don't even know about, and I don't care and have to know about, because it's just quality is going to win in the long term. And now you can't write about just anything, right? And so this is why optimization is so important. And so when you do keyword research, most amateurs are just going to stop there, right? They got their keywords, they know what it is, and they're done. But that's really just where it begins, because I do this pretty intensely, and I take it to a very far level. So when I do keyword research, start collecting keywords. Typically, what I really focus on, it's like 2,000 to 6,000 keywords, a lot of which aren't relevant or aren't even helpful, but we can always take those out later. Then the next step is to really group these keywords so that we have all the variations of the same topic. We have them all there. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in a second. Because obviously there's long tail, but then there's just different ways people write things when they're searching. It's kind of funny to see. And then there's planning content around those keywords and topics that people are searching for. And in e-commerce, it's more important to actually map those keywords to the product pages or category pages and pages of the site. If you're not very content heavy right now, you have to make sure you're, just the wordings and the phrasing, and you might have to add in a modifier there. So mapping keywords and then optimizing on the page. And so for an example, let's say I have an e-commerce store and I'm selling bath toys. So we need to find out what keywords people are searching for. So you might go to Keyword Planner from Google or of any tool, and you might get some keywords people are searching for. Cool bath toys for a 1-year-old, best bath toys, toddler bath toys. And so you start to get basically what the arrangement is. It's bath, toys, and a modifier, or maybe the modifier comes in front. But it's just different variations with like an adjective or something about it, maybe a phrase. And so this I find really fascinating, because when I was working on this was a few months ago, believe it or not, I found 150 keywords, all variations of bath toys. So if you're doing your keyword research and you have like 10 or 20, and look, you don't have to go crazy, but I just want to show you the opportunity that's out there. And these search volumes are international, so it's much higher than if we're just targeting the US. But there's dinosaur bath toys and baby girl bath toys, and best bath toys for 3-year-olds gets 320 searches a month. So if you're creating content, or if you're if you're an e-commerce site, you could be targeting all of these. It can be within. Let me take questions at the end. It could be all within one page, or we could break this up even further to what's relevant and what's going to make sense in terms of content. And then we're going to map those keywords. And so if, let's say, we're building a website based around content, the whole structure of the content of the site should all really be like a mirror image of the keyword and the keyword research that we found. Because that's what people are actually looking for. We might think they want to know about X. We might want to write about X. Or we might think it's helpful for them to know about X. So you can create that content and do it. But for SEO, it's really not the best use of your writing resources. You want to focus on what people are actually searching for, even if the terms and the words and the phrases are like weird. That's how people are thinking about it. That's how they're talking about it. So you just want to match it to them. All right. So you want to drive organic traffic to your business, to your website. To sort of summarize, we're going after referring domains, content, and optimization. To get referring domains, you have to have something valuable that people want to link to in the first place. A good exercise is to think of, if you have your own website, or even think of Facebook, you think of why you actually link to things, why you share things. Right? It's usually because it moved you and inspired you, or it's valuable, or if I was writing a blog post, maybe I was backing up my claim that this many people do something. And here's my source, here's my citation, right? So you want to be that authority, and you want to be something valuable that people naturally want to link to, because it's high quality, it's credible, it's authoritative, you're helping people. So anyway, you have all your on-site stuff and your content. It's not easy, right? It's getting more and more competitive. And then you're doing outreach to the right people that are most likely to link back to. And if anyone has questions, we could talk more about this stuff. It gets pretty in-depth. Creating content, make it awesome and in-depth. Long form is way better than blog posts. Blog posts are also dated. And so if you had the choice to read something from 2 years ago, or that maybe looks like it's from today, which would you choose? And then, as I showed you, keyword research and content planning. So let's talk for a moment about SEO for e-commerce and how it differs from doing SEO for other types of websites. So first, it's extremely competitive. Because if someone's searching for buy computer, everyone wants to rank for that. And with e-commerce, it's very much like, it's just straight up numbers game and their money keywords. So the value of those keywords with that user intent with buy in front, super high, right? So, in this instance for buy computer online, you're competing against Amazon. Best Buy has 2 slots there. Newegg and Tiger Direct I'm not familiar with, but their domain authority, which is a metric, as well as their trust and the amount of backlinks coming to them, and all that stuff is like sky high. You're not going to obviously compete against that. So you got to go after long-tail keywords. So there's 1,000 ways to find them. This is like a very simple basic one. But you can start looking at auto-suggest and see what's coming up. Because maybe Best Buy is going after best computer for video editing of 2017, but they're probably not spending too much time there. And you can get even further long tail, and the search volumes actually get much lower as well. But if you look collectively at all the long tail keywords, and you can optimize one piece of content for many, especially in e-commerce, people might be looking for comparisons. There's a lot of opportunity there. Second thing is optimizing your category and product pages. So this is just an example with the title tag. So you can have a very simple title tag that's buy, product, online, and then your store. And we have to figure out what the patterns are. Maybe it's a little different. Sometimes people use the word purchase or for sale. I was looking at in some keywords today. The third thing that's it's a big hurdle for a lot of e-commerce sites, is writing new product descriptions. So oftentimes product descriptions are really short, which makes them not very valuable in Google's eyes. And oftentimes they're just copied or imported straight from the manufacturer or from another source. And so it creates this duplicate content issue. Google doesn't want duplicate content. So again, it requires work and effort. You can hire a writer to write you unique product descriptions. You don't have to sit there and do this stuff yourself. You've probably got better things to do. This is a funny example of this kitchen art mixer that has 2,000 words of content on Amazon. And it's not including the reviews at the bottom. So it's pretty insane. You can use a simple format. This is just an example, little introduction, some bullet points about features. This is more of the example, and I just love girl's rainbow tutu skirt is perfect for parties or dress-ups at home. Next tip is use Schema, which this gets more technical and complicated. You don't have to worry about this if it's far out of your realm or if you don't have a developer. But at some point, it is valuable to have the star rating there and information. It just makes your search result shine a little more and can increase the click-through rates. Another more technical thing is having duplicate content within your own site. So this is not duplicate a product description that's on another site that's now on yours as well. But this is having all these URL variations, because depending on how someone's looking at your site, your e-commerce store, you start getting these long URLs with the end P = T sort of thing. And so, you could do a quick search with site : put in the URL that it's supposed to be. In this instance, there's 15 results that Google has indexed. And so, you can see some variations below. And there's a few technical ways to fix this. I won't go into. But you basically want Google to know this is the primary version that we should index and show in the search results. You don't have to collect all 15 versions, because that's not good. And so to sum up, SEO there's no real shortcuts. It's a lot of hustle. Hence, I put Gary Vee up here. And it's very competitive. Everyone wants to be number one. John, you know this, go big or go home from our past. So, invest heavily into it, and it'll give you some big returns for your business. And I want to leave you with one final thought. You have to think of it as a long-term investment. SEO is notoriously slow. It's not Google AdWords, it's not Facebook ads. You don't put money in today and get money out today. You put money in today over the next 6 months, a year, whatever, and you get that ROI over time. If you're continuously getting traffic 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, it just keeps adding on to the ROI. So thank you guys so much. I love you. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and I'm open to discussing more even after all this. So thank you. Do you want to rank higher, get more organic traffic, and grow your business? Learn more about us at shortoak.com and see how we can help you grow your business. We have limited availability, so get in touch now, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together. Thanks for watching.